Admiral Jack Morrison sat in his command chair aboard the ESS Vanguard. The massive warship floated in space near Earth's moon. Jack had been in charge of Earth's defense fleet for 10 years. He had seen many battles and won most of them. But today felt different. The bridge was quiet except for the soft hum of computers. Stars twinkled outside the large windows. Jack looked at the reports on his screen. Everything seemed normal. Trade ships moved between planets. Military patrols checked the outer systems. Nothing looked wrong. Then the alarm rang. "Admiral," called Lieutenant Tom Bradley from his station. "We're getting a signal from the outer rim. It's coming through the quantum network." Jack turned his chair toward Tom. "Who's sending it?" "It's from Dr. Helen Carter, sir. She's on the research ship Aurora's Dream in the Kepler 442 system." Jack knew Helen well. She was one of Earth's best scientists. She studied alien life forms on distant worlds. Helen never sent emergency signals unless something was very wrong. "Put her through," Jack said. The main screen flickered. Helen's face appeared, but the image was fuzzy and kept breaking up. She looked scared. Her dark hair was messy, and her eyes were wide with fear. "Admiral Morrison, can you hear me?" Helen's voice crackled through the speakers. "I can hear you." "Helen, what's your situation?" "Jack, we're in trouble, big trouble." Helen looked over her shoulder, then back at the screen. "An alien fleet showed up 3 days ago. They're not like anything we've seen before." Jack leaned forward in his chair. "How many ships?" "Hundreds, maybe thousands. Their technology is far beyond ours. They destroyed the colony on New Geneva in less than an hour." Captain Lisa Wright, Jack's second in command, moved closer to his chair. Lisa had short blonde hair and sharp blue eyes. She was the best tactical officer in the fleet. "What do they want?" Lisa asked. Helen shook her head. "That's the worst part. They're not just destroying things. They're taking people. The survivors from New Geneva were loaded onto their ships." The signal got worse. Helen's image flickered and jumped. "Helen, we're losing you," Jack said. "Try to boost your signal." "I can't. They're jamming everything." "Jack, listen carefully. These aliens aren't random raiders. They're looking for something specific. They scan every human they capture." "Scan for what?" "I don't know. But they seem very interested in our psychology, how we think, how we fight. Jack, I think they're studying us." The image cleared for a moment. Helen looked directly at Jack through the screen. "Admiral, they're coming for Earth next. I heard their communications. They call our planet the primary source. Whatever they want, they think Earth has the most of it." Static filled the screen. Helen's voice became hard to understand. "Jack, you have to prepare. These aliens are like nothing we've fought before. They don't just want to conquer us, they want to harvest something from us. Something they think makes humans special." The signal cut out completely. The screen went black. Jack stared at the empty screen for a long moment. The bridge was silent. Everyone had heard Helen's message. Everyone knew what it meant. "Tom, try to re-establish contact," Jack ordered. "I'm trying, sir, but there's nothing. The quantum relay in that system has gone dark." Lisa pulled up a star map on her tablet. "Kepler 442 is 12 light years away. If Helen is right about their technology, they could be here in days." Jack stood up from his chair. He was a tall man with gray hair and weathered hands. He had fought in the Mars Wars and the asteroid belt conflicts. But this felt bigger than anything he had faced before. "Get me Director Susan Blake at Colonial Intelligence," Jack said. "And contact General Paul Martinez at Ground Command. We need an emergency meeting of the Defense Council." "Yes, sir," Tom replied, working quickly at his station. Jack walked to the large windows that showed Earth below. The blue and green planet looked peaceful. Clouds swirled over the continents. City lights twinkled on the night side. Millions of people lived down there. They had no idea what was coming. Lisa joined him at the window. "Jack, if Helen is right about their numbers and technology, we're not ready for this." "We'll have to get ready fast," Jack said. "How many ships do we have in the home fleet?" 200 combat vessels, maybe 50 more if we call in the patrol squadrons." Jack did the math in his head. 200 ships against thousands. It wasn't good odds. "Sir," Tom called out, "I have Director Blake and General Martinez on secure channels." Jack returned to his chair. Two more faces appeared on the screen. Susan Blake was a thin woman with short red hair and intelligent eyes. Paul Martinez was a big man with a thick mustache and a serious expression. "Jack, we got your emergency signal," Susan said. "What's the situation?" Jack told them everything Helen had said. He played back the recording of her message. When he finished, both Susan and Paul looked worried. "How reliable is Dr. Carter's information?" Paul asked. "Helen doesn't panic," Jack replied. "If she says we're facing an invasion, we are." Susan leaned forward in her chair. "My intelligence network has been picking up strange signals from the outer systems. Ships going missing, colonies losing contact. I thought it was equipment failures." "It wasn't," Jack said. "Paul, what's our military readiness?" Paul looked at his notes. "We can mobilize the home defense fleet in 6 hours. The Marine divisions can be ready in 12 hours. But Jack, if these aliens have the technology Helen described, conventional tactics won't work." Jack nodded. He had been thinking the same thing. Regular military formations worked against human enemies. But aliens with superior technology would need a different approach. "We need our best people," Jack said. "Not our biggest army, but our deadliest soldiers." "You mean Task Force Hellfire?" Lisa asked. Jack smiled grimly. Task Force Hellfire was a special unit made up of the most dangerous fighters in human space. They weren't the biggest group or the most disciplined, but when regular armies failed, they got results. "That's exactly what I mean," Jack said. "Susan, I need you to locate every member of Hellfire. I don't care where they are or what they're doing. Bring them to Luna Station." "Some of those people are in prison, Jack," Susan warned. "Then let them out." "We're going to need every advantage we can get." Paul frowned. "Are you sure about this? Some of those soldiers are barely controllable even on our side." Jack looked out at Earth again. Somewhere out there, an alien fleet was coming. They wanted something from humanity, something they thought was worth traveling across the galaxy to get. "Paul, we're about to face an enemy that can destroy planets. Normal. Rules don't apply anymore." Jack turned back to the screen. "I'm authorizing the activation of Task Force Hellfire. We're going to dispatch our deadliest warriors to meet this threat." The meeting ended. Jack sat alone on his bridge, looking at the stars. Somewhere among those points of light, Helen Carter was either dead or captured. Her warning had reached Earth just in time. Now humanity would have to prove that whatever made them special was worth fighting for. The 3 ships of Task Force Hellfire dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler 442 system. What they saw made even the most experienced soldiers pause. Colonel Ryan Hayes stood on the bridge of the ESS Retribution, staring at the main screen. Where once there had been thriving colonies and busy space lanes, now there was only destruction. 2 planets showed massive scars across their surfaces, as if something had carved deep trenches through their continents. "My God," whispered Captain Ben Murphy, the Retribution's commanding officer. "What could do that to an entire world?" Commander Amy Johnson's voice came through the communication system from her stealth ship. "Shadowhawk here. I'm detecting debris fields where the orbital stations used to be. Whatever hit this system was thorough." Dr. Kevin Ross worked at his sensor station, trying to make sense of the readings. "Energy signatures are unlike anything in our database. The weapon that did this doesn't match any known technology." Lieutenant Nina Torres and her enhanced soldiers stood ready in the Retribution's hangar bay. Through the comm system, her voice was steady but angry. "Colonel, are we looking at our future? Is this what's coming to Earth?" Ryan didn't answer immediately. He was thinking about the millions of people who had lived in this system. Families, children, scientists like Dr. Helen Carter, all gone in what looked like a matter of hours. "Kevin, can you locate the Aurora's Dream?" Ryan asked. Kevin's fingers flew over his controls. Scanning for the research vessel's quantum signature, found it. The ship is still intact, but it's drifting near the 4th planet. "Any life signs?" "Hard to tell from this distance. The ship's power is very low, but there might be someone alive in the emergency shelters." Amy's voice crackled through the speakers. "I can get the Shadowhawk close without being detected. My stealth systems should hide us from any Dominion sensors. Ryan made his decision. Do it. Take Kevin with you to analyze their systems. Nina, prep your squad for boarding action. If there are survivors, we're getting them out. What about you, Colonel? Nina asked. I'm staying here to coordinate and watch for enemy ships. This could be a trap. An hour later, the Shadowhawk approached the damaged research vessel. Kevin sat at the sensors studying the alien technology signatures that lingered around the ship. Amy, look at this, Kevin said. The Aurora's dream wasn't destroyed by conventional weapons. These energy readings suggest some kind of neural disruptor. Neural disruptor? Amy carefully piloted her ship closer to the research vessel, a weapon designed to disable electronics and organic nervous systems at the same time. It would knock out both the ship's computers and the crew's ability to fight back. Amy shook her head. They wanted prisoners, not casualties. Exactly. But why? The Shadowhawk docked with the Aurora's dream through an emergency airlock. Kevin and a small team of technicians entered the darkened research ship. Emergency lights cast strange shadows in the corridors. Hello? Kevin called out. This is Dr. Kevin Ross with Earth Defense. Is anyone alive? A faint voice answered from deeper in the ship. Here. We're in Emergency Shelter 3. Kevin followed the voice and found a sealed door marked with biohazard symbols. He worked quickly to override the lock. The door opened to reveal 5 people huddled in a small room filled with scientific equipment. Dr. Helen Carter looked up with tears in her eyes. Kevin, is that really you? Helen, thank God you're alive. Kevin helped her to her feet. Are you injured? Physically, we're fine, but Kevin, what we saw? Helen's voice trailed off. The other survivors were 2 research assistants, a ship engineer, and a colony administrator who had been visiting when the attack began. They all looked exhausted and traumatized. Can you tell me what happened? Kevin asked gently. Helen nodded slowly. They came without warning. Hundreds of ships, all different designs, like they had conquered dozens of civilizations and taken their technology. How many ships exactly? I counted over 300 before I stopped counting. But Kevin, that's not the worst part. Helen led him to a computer terminal that was still functioning. On the screen were recordings she had made during the attack. Watch this, she said. The recording showed alien ships approaching the colony on New Geneva. The ships were enormous, each one the size of a small city. As they got closer, beams of energy shot down from the vessels. But instead of destroying buildings, the beams seemed to scan them. They weren't trying to destroy the colony, Helen explained. They were looking for something specific. What were they looking for? Humans. Only humans. There were 3 other alien species living on New Geneva as part of a cultural exchange program. The Dominion ships ignored them completely. Kevin watched as the recording showed alien soldiers landing on the planet's surface. They moved with mechanical precision, but their focus was entirely on capturing human colonists. Kevin, they didn't just take prisoners. They sorted them. The Dominion soldiers separated humans by age, profession, and psychological profiles. How do you know about psychological profiles? Helen pointed to another part of the recording. They had devices that scanned human brains. I saw them reject some colonists and take others. It wasn't random. The recording showed groups of humans being loaded onto alien transports. Some were taken immediately, while others were left behind, unharmed but ignored. What made them choose? Who to take? Kevin asked. I think they were looking for specific mental traits: courage, determination, the ability to resist authority. Helen's voice grew quiet. They were harvesting the strongest human spirits. Kevin felt a chill run down his spine. Helen, did you hear any of their communications? Some. My translation. Software could only handle fragments, but I heard them use a phrase repeatedly. They called it the warrior gene. The warrior gene? Something they think humans have that other species don't. The ability to keep fighting even when defeat is certain. Kevin transmitted the recordings back to the Shadowhawk, then to the Retribution. Within minutes, Ryan's voice came through. The comm system. Kevin, you need to see this. We've detected a massive structure in the asteroid belt. It looks like a Dominion facility. What kind of facility? Unknown, but it's huge, and it's definitely not abandoned. We're reading life signs. Thousands of them. Amy's voice joined the conversation. Colonel, if the Dominion is still in this system, we need to be careful. The Shadowhawk can get close for reconnaissance, but we'll need backup if things go wrong. Ryan considered their options. Negative. This is exactly what we came here to find. Kevin, get those survivors aboard the Shadowhawk and return to the Retribution. We're going to investigate that facility. Sir, that could be dangerous, Nina's voice cut in. If it's a Dominion base, we might be flying into a trap. Maybe. But if there are human prisoners in that facility, we have to try to rescue them. Helen grabbed Kevin's arm. You don't understand. The Dominion isn't just taking prisoners. They're experimenting on them, trying to understand what makes humans willing to die for each other. What do you mean? I monitored some of their transmissions before we lost contact. They've encountered dozens of alien civilizations, but humans are different. We're the only species that consistently fights to the death rather than surrender. Kevin helped Helen and the other survivors gather their essential equipment. And they want to know why. More than that, they want to replicate it. The Dominion believes that if they can understand human psychology, they can create super soldiers that combine their technology with our determination. As they prepared to leave, the Aurora's dream, Kevin thought about what Helen had told him. An alien empire was studying humanity not because they feared human strength, but because they envied it. Helen, in your opinion, can human determination be copied? Helen smiled sadly. That's what they don't understand. Human courage doesn't come from genetics or brain chemistry. It comes from love, from caring about something more than yourself. And aliens can't understand that? The Dominion is a collective mind. Individual sacrifice for others is foreign to them. They think it's a technical problem they can solve. Kevin helped the survivors board the Shadowhawk. As Amy piloted the UAO ship back toward the Retribution, he thought about the implications of what they had learned. The Dominion wasn't just conquering human space. They were trying to steal the essence of what made humans human. But they had made a fundamental mistake. They thought human courage was something that could be taken by force. Ryan's voice came through the comm system as they approached the Retribution. Kevin, what's your assessment? Colonel, we're not just fighting an invasion, we're fighting an alien empire that wants to turn human determination into a weapon for galactic conquest. Can they do it? Kevin looked at Helen, who was tending to the traumatized survivors with gentle care. He saw Amy flying her ship with skill and precision, ready to risk her life for people she had just met. Through the viewports, he could see Nina and her soldiers preparing for battle, not for glory or conquest, but to protect others. No, sir, Kevin said finally. They can't, because they don't understand that human strength comes from our connections to each other, and that's something you can't steal or copy. Then let's make sure they learn that lesson, Ryan replied. All ships, prepare for approach to the Dominion facility. It's time to show them what human warriors can really do. Luna Station was the biggest military base in human space. Built inside a crater on the moon's surface, it could hold 50,000 soldiers and their equipment. Today, it buzzed with activity as ships arrived from across the solar system. Colonel Ryan Hayes stood on the observation deck, watching the latest arrivals. His weathered face showed the scars of many battles. Ryan was 45 years old and had been fighting for 20 years. He was famous for holding New Stalingrad against impossible odds. For 3 days, he and his men had fought off an entire army with nothing but determination and smart tactics. Impressive sight, said a woman's voice behind him. Ryan turned to see Commander Amy Johnson walking up. She was a small woman with short black hair and quick movements. Amy piloted the ESS Shadowhawk, the most advanced stealth ship in the fleet. Her record showed successful missions behind enemy lines during the Mars Rebellion. Not as impressive as what's coming for us, Ryan replied. You heard Admiral Morrison's briefing? Amy nodded. Alien invasion fleet, superior technology, unknown numbers. She shrugged. Sounds like Tuesday to me. Ryan almost smiled. Amy was known for staying calm under pressure. She had once flown her ship through an asteroid field while enemy missiles chased her. She treated it like a training exercise. The door to the deck opened again. Dr. Kevin Ross entered carrying a large bag of tools. Kevin was tall and thin with messy brown hair and quick eyes. He looked more like a scientist than a soldier, but his file told a different story. Kevin had been special forces before becoming an engineer. He could take apart alien technology and rebuild it to work for humans. Ryan, Amy, Kevin said, nodding to each of them. Any word on our final team members? They should be here soon, Ryan said. Have you seen the preliminary data on this Dominion fleet? Kevin set down his bag and pulled out a tablet. I've been studying the transmission from Dr. Carter. The technology signatures are unlike anything in our databases. Their energy readings suggest power sources we don't understand. Can we fight them? Amy asked. With conventional weapons? Probably not, but every technology has weaknesses. I just need to find them. Heavy footsteps echoed in the corridor outside. The door opened, and Lieutenant Nina Torres entered. She was a big woman with strong arms and alert eyes. Nina led the shock troopers, soldiers who had been enhanced to fight in conditions that would kill normal humans. Her unit specialized in boarding enemy ships and close combat. Colonel Hayes, Nina said, saluting. My squad is ready for deployment. How many troops do you have? Ryan asked. 12 of my best, all enhanced, all experienced in alien technology. Nina's expression was serious. Sir, my people are asking questions about this enemy. What should I tell them? Ryan looked at the others. Tell them the truth. We're facing something new, something dangerous. But we've all faced impossible odds before. The door opened one final time. A man in civilian clothes entered. He was average height with dark hair and cold eyes. This was Marcus Webb, and everyone in the room tensed when they saw him. Marcus had been a soldier once, but he had done terrible things during the Outer Colony Wars. He was supposed to be in prison for war crimes. The fact that he was here meant the situation was desperate. Ladies and gentlemen, Marcus said with a thin smile. Isn't this a lovely reunion? Amy's hand moved toward her sidearm. What's he doing here? Admiral Morrison released him for this mission, Ryan said. We need his expertise. What expertise? Nina demanded. Torturing prisoners? Marcus's smile didn't change. Psychological warfare, understanding how enemies think, breaking their will to fight. He looked around the room. Skills that might be useful against aliens who study human psychology. Kevin checked his tablet. According to Dr. Carter's data, these Dominion aliens are very interested in how humans think and react. Maybe Marcus can help us understand why. Ryan raised his hand for silence. Like it or not, we're all on the same team now. Our job is to stop an alien invasion. Personal feelings don't matter. Amy relaxed slightly, but she kept watching Marcus. Fine, but I want to know exactly what he did to get out of prison. Admiral, Morrison gave me a full pardon, Marcus said, in exchange for my complete cooperation on this mission. Which means what exactly? Nina asked. It means I follow Colonel Hayes' orders without question, and I use everything I know to help us win. Ryan walked to the center of the room. All right, people, here's the situation. An alien fleet calling itself the Dominion has been attacking human colonies. They have superior technology and unknown numbers. But they're not just conquering territory. They're capturing humans for some kind of experiments. Kevin pulled up a holographic display from his tablet. Based on the limited data we have, they seem to be studying human psychology. How we think, how we react under pressure, how we fight when outnumbered. Why would they care about that? Amy asked. Marcus spoke up. Because they've encountered resistance they didn't expect. Most species probably surrender when faced with overwhelming force. Humans don't. Nina frowned. You think they're trying to understand why we keep fighting? More than that, Marcus said. I think they're trying to steal it. Whatever makes humans different, they want to take it for themselves. Ryan nodded slowly. That would explain why they're capturing people instead of just killing everyone. Kevin's tablet beeped. He looked at the screen and frowned. We just received new intelligence from refugees who escaped the attacks. The aliens call themselves the Dominion, and they've been moving through this part of the galaxy for years. How many species have they conquered? Amy asked. Unknown. But the refugees report seeing ships and technology from dozens of different worlds, all serving the Dominion now. Nina checked her own equipment. So we're not just fighting one alien race, we're fighting an empire. It gets worse, Kevin continued reading. The refugees describe something they call conversion centers, places where captured humans are subjected to psychological conditioning. Marcus leaned forward. What kind of conditioning? They break people's spirits, force them to surrender their will to resist. The refugees who escaped said the aliens are trying to understand what they call the human spark. Ryan felt a chill. The spark of defiance. What makes humans fight even when they should surrender? Amy stood up and began pacing. So let me get this straight. We're facing an alien empire with superior technology, unknown numbers, and they've been studying how to break human resistance? That's about right, Kevin said. And our response is to send 5 people and a squad of enhanced soldiers? Ryan smiled grimly. Sometimes a small force can do what a large army cannot. We're not trying to match their strength. We're trying to hit them where they're weak. Do we know where they're weak? Nina asked. Marcus answered. Every enemy has weaknesses. The trick is finding them before they find yours. He looked around the room. From what we know, these Dominion aliens think like a collective. They probably expect humans to think the same way. Meaning? Amy asked. Meaning they expect logical, predictable responses to their attacks. They've studied human psychology, but they might not understand human unpredictability. Kevin nodded thoughtfully. If they're a hive mind or collective intelligence, they might not grasp individual initiative and improvisation. Ryan walked to the window that looked out over Luna Station's docking bays. 3 ships waited there. Amy's stealth destroyer Shadowhawk, the assault carrier Retribution, and the support vessel Lifeline. Our orders are to investigate the Kepler 442 system, Ryan said. Find out what happened to Dr. Carter and gather intelligence on Dominion capabilities. And if we find more than we can handle? Nina asked. Then we send everything we learn back to Earth and make sure Admiral Morrison knows what's coming. Amy joined Ryan at the window. What if Earth can't stop them even with intelligence? Ryan was quiet for a moment. Then we make sure the Dominion learns something about human nature they weren't expecting. Marcus chuckled darkly. You mean we make them pay for every inch? I mean we show them that humans don't surrender. Ever. No matter what they do to us. No matter how hopeless things look. We keep fighting. Kevin packed up his equipment. The ships are ready for departure. My technical team has loaded experimental weapons and sensor equipment on all 3 vessels. Nina checked her chronometer. My squad is aboard the Retribution. Enhanced armor, high-energy weapons, and enough determination to take on anything we find. Amy moved toward the door. The Shadowhawk stealth systems have been upgraded. We can get close to Dominion ships without being detected. Marcus followed the others. And I'll make sure we understand what we're really fighting when we get there. Ryan took one last look at Earth, visible through the station's windows. The blue planet looked peaceful and safe. But somewhere in space, an alien armada was coming. They wanted something from humanity, something they thought they could take by force. All right, people, Ryan said. Time to show the galaxy what human warriors can do. The team left the observation deck and headed for their ships. In 6 hours, they would depart for the outer rim. They were about to face an enemy unlike anything humanity had encountered before, but they were also about to prove that some things couldn't be conquered, only earned. And the Dominion was about to learn the hard way what made humans so dangerous. Admiral Jack Morrison stood on the bridge of the ESS Vanguard, watching the largest alien fleet in human history emerge from hyperspace near Jupiter. The Dominion Armada stretched across the solar system like a metallic plague. Hundreds of massive ships, each one capable of destroying entire planets, moved in perfect formation toward Earth. "Sir?" called Lieutenant Tom Bradley from his sensor station. I count 800 vessels, maybe more. Their lead ships are already past Jupiter's orbit. Jack felt the weight of humanity's future on his shoulders. Every human ship in the solar system was moving to intercept the alien fleet. But they were outnumbered 4-1. Earth's home defense fleet had grown over the years, but it had never faced anything like this. "Admiral," came Colonel Ryan Hayes' voice through the quantum communicator. "Task Force Hellfire is approaching the outer system. We have crucial intelligence about the enemy." "Go ahead, Ryan." "Sir, the Dominion isn't just trying to conquer us. They're trying to steal what makes us human. They want to understand our psychological resistance and use it to create super soldiers for galactic conquest." Captain Lisa Wright, standing next to Jack, frowned at the tactical display. "How do we fight an enemy that's been studying us?" "By being unpredictable," Ryan's voice replied. "The Dominion thinks like a collective mind. They expect logical, efficient responses to their attacks. They don't understand individual initiative and improvisation." Dr. Kevin Ross's voice joined the conversation from the support ship Lifeline. "Admiral, I've analyzed their technology and found weaknesses. Their ships are powerful, but they're designed for conventional space combat. They're not prepared for the kind of chaotic tactics humans use when we're desperate." Jack looked at the approaching alien fleet through the bridge's main viewport. In the distance, Earth hung like a blue jewel against the black of space. Billions of people lived on that world, unaware that their entire species was about to fight for its survival. "All ships," Jack announced on the fleet-wide communication channel. "This is Admiral Morrison. Today we face an enemy that believes human determination can be conquered and copied. They think our courage is a resource they can harvest. They're wrong." Across the solar system, human warships prepared for battle. Marines checked their weapons, pilots ran final system checks, and gunners loaded their most powerful ammunition. Everyone knew the odds, but no one suggested surrender. Commander Amy Johnson, piloting the stealth ship Shadowhawk, approached the Dominion fleet's edge. Her ship's advanced camouflage systems made her invisible to alien sensors, allowing her to study their formations up close. "Admiral," Amy reported, "their ships are arranged in perfect geometric patterns. No variation, no individual ship initiative. They're fighting like a computer program." "That's exactly what they are," came Marcus Webb's voice from aboard the TU Retribution. The former war criminal had proven invaluable in understanding alien psychology. "The Dominion is a collective mind. Every ship follows the same strategic programming." General Paul Martinez's voice joined the communication from Mars Command. "Jack, our ground forces are ready on every human world. If any aliens make it through, the fleet will make them pay for every meter of ground." The first shots of the battle came from the Dominion fleet. Massive energy beams lanced across space, striking human ships with devastating force. The aliens' weapons were far more powerful than anything humanity possessed. But the human response surprised the Dominion commanders. Instead of forming neat battle lines, human ships scattered in seemingly random directions. Pilots broke formation to conduct individual attacks that appeared suicidal, but targeted specific weaknesses Kevin had identified. Jack watched as a small destroyer, the ESS Defiant, charged directly at a Dominion battleship 10 times its size. The alien ship's weapons tracked the human vessel, but the Defiant's pilot used erratic maneuvers that made targeting impossible. The destroyer struck the alien ship's sensor array with a full spread of quantum torpedoes, then spun away before the battleship could respond. It was a tactically illogical move that would have been impossible to program into a computer, but it worked. "All ships," Jack announced, "use pattern chaos, individual initiative authorized. Hit them where they don't expect it." Pattern chaos was a human military doctrine that the Dominion had never encountered. Instead of following predetermined battle plans, each ship captain was given complete freedom to engage the enemy however they thought best. The alien fleet, programmed for conventional space combat, couldn't adapt to the unpredictable human tactics. Dominion ships found themselves fighting dozens of individual battles instead of one coordinated engagement. Ryan Hayes led a boarding party aboard the alien flagship, a massive vessel that coordinated the entire Dominion fleet. His team included Kevin Ross and a group of enhanced soldiers who had volunteered for what was essentially a suicide mission. "Amy, can you get us close to their command ship?" Ryan asked over the comm. "Already on it," Amy replied. The Shadowhawk slipped through the alien formation, its stealth systems hiding it from Dominion sensors. Their flagship is the size of a space station. Finding a way inside might be impossible. Kevin studied his readings. Not impossible. Their ship design follows the same logical patterns as their tactics. There'll be a primary docking bay on the lower section. As the Shadowhawk approached the massive alien vessel, the scope of the Dominion's technology became clear. The flagship was not just a warship but a mobile command center capable of coordinating thousands of vessels across multiple star systems. "Ryan," came Jack's voice through the comm. "Whatever you're planning, do it fast. We're losing ships out here." The human fleet was fighting bravely, but they couldn't maintain their chaotic tactics forever. The Dominion's superior firepower was taking its toll. For every alien ship destroyed, humanity lost 3 vessels. Ryan's boarding party penetrated the alien flagship and fought their way through corridors filled with strange technology and alien defenders. The Dominion soldiers they encountered fought with mechanical precision, but couldn't adapt to human unpredictability. Deep inside the ship, they found what they were looking for: the collective consciousness, a vast biomechanical intelligence that controlled the entire Dominion fleet. It was part computer and part living organism, connected to every alien ship in the Armada. "Kevin, can you shut it down?" Ryan asked. Kevin studied the alien technology with growing understanding. "Not shut it down, but I can do something better. I can teach it what human determination really means." Instead of destroying the collective consciousness, Kevin connected it to the ship's communication system and transmitted every recording they had made of human resistance. Videos of Nina Torres sacrificing herself to save prisoners. Audio of Dr. Helen Carter warning Earth despite knowing she would die. Records of human soldiers fighting impossible odds, not for conquest, but for love. The collective consciousness, designed to analyze and understand psychological patterns, tried to process the data, but human emotions proved incompatible with its logical programming. The alien intelligence couldn't understand how beings would choose death over surrender for the sake of others. As the collective struggled to comprehend human psychology, its confusion spread through the quantum links to every Dominion ship. Alien crews dependent on central coordination found their orders becoming contradictory and illogical. "Jack," Ryan called to Admiral Morrison. "The alien fleet is losing coordination. Now's our chance." The human fleet, battered but not broken, pressed their attack. With the Dominion ships no longer working in perfect unity, human tactics became devastatingly effective. Marcus Webb, monitoring alien communications from the Retribution, reported what he was hearing. "Their command structure is collapsing. The collective consciousness is trying to understand human sacrifice, and it's driving their computer systems insane." The battle's turning point came when ordinary human civilians joined the fight. Merchant ships, mining vessels, and even pleasure craft armed themselves with whatever weapons they could find and attacked the alien fleet. The Dominion had studied human military psychology, but they had never encountered an entire species willing to fight. Men and women with no military training piloted cargo ships into alien vessels, choosing certain death over submission. "This is what they never understood," Amy said, as she watched a civilian transport ram an alien cruiser. "Human strength doesn't come from training or technology. It comes from love for our families and our future." The collective consciousness, overwhelmed by examples of irrational human behavior, began to shut down. Across the Dominion fleet, ships lost coordination and communication. Some alien vessels fled into hyperspace, while others simply stopped functioning. Jack Morrison, watching the alien retreat from his command bridge, felt a mixture of triumph and sorrow. Humanity had won, but at a terrible cost. Hundreds of human ships had been destroyed, and thousands of brave men and women would never see their homes again. "Admiral," came a transmission from one of the fleeing Dominion ships. The voice was mechanical, clearly computer-generated. "This defeat will be analyzed. The Dominion will return with better understanding of human psychology. The Dominion facility was built inside a hollowed-out asteroid the size of a small moon. From the outside, it looked like a massive mechanical sphere covered in towers and docking bays. Ships came and went constantly, carrying unknown cargo to and from the structure. Commander Amy Johnson piloted the Shadowhawk through the asteroid field, using her ship's advanced stealth systems to avoid detection. Through the viewports, the facility looked like a metal city floating in space. "My God," whispered Dr. Kevin Ross, studying his sensor readings. "This thing is huge. It could hold 1 million people." "How many human life signs are you detecting?" asked Colonel Ryan Hayes through the comm system from the Retribution. Kevin worked frantically at his controls. "Thousands, maybe tens of thousands. But Ryan, these readings are strange. The human life signs are concentrated in specific areas, like they're being held in groups." Lieutenant Nina Torres and her enhanced soldiers waited in the Shadowhawk's small hangar bay. Their power armor was charged and their weapons were ready. Nina had fought in boarding actions before, but never against alien technology. "Colonel," Nina's voice was steady but concerned, "if we're going in there, we need a plan. This isn't like boarding a human ship." Amy brought the Shadowhawk closer to the facility. Her stealth systems were working perfectly, making the ship invisible to alien sensors. But as they got nearer, they could see the true scale of the Dominion operation. "Look at that," Amy said, pointing through the viewport. Massive bays were open to space, showing the inside of the facility. Alien workers moved around strange machinery, tending to rows of transparent chambers. Inside each chamber was a human being. Kevin enhanced the image on his screen. "They're not just holding prisoners. They're running experiments." Through the transparent chambers, they could see humans of all ages connected to alien machines. Cables ran from the devices to the prisoners' heads. Lights flashed in patterns that seemed to follow the prisoners' brain activity. "What are they doing to them?" Nina asked. Marcus Webb, the former war criminal, studied the images with professional interest. "Psychological conditioning. They're trying to break down human mental resistance and understand how it works." "Can we stop it?" Amy asked. Ryan's voice came through the comm system. "We have to try. Amy, can you get us inside without alerting their security?" Amy checked her navigation systems. "There's a maintenance port on the facility's underside. It's big enough for the Shadowhawk and my sensors show minimal security." "Do it." Amy piloted the ship toward the maintenance port with skill and precision. The Shadowhawk slipped through the opening and into the facility's interior. They found themselves in a vast hangar filled with alien machinery and strange vehicles. Kevin scanned the area with his portable sensors. No immediate threats, but we're definitely inside their main complex. The human life signs are coming from 3 levels above us. Nina and her 12 enhanced soldiers prepared for deployment. Their power armor gave them increased strength and protection, while their weapons had been modified with alien technology captured in previous conflicts. "Marcus, you're with me," Ryan said over the comm. "We need your expertise in psychological operations." "Understood, Colonel. But be warned, what we're about to see won't be pleasant." The team moved through the facility's corridors carefully. The architecture was unlike anything human, with curved walls and strange angles that seemed designed for beings with different physical needs. Alien symbols covered the walls, glowing softly in the dim light. They reached the first level where humans were being held. Through transparent walls, they could see rows of chambers containing prisoners from various human colonies. The aliens had organized them by categories that made Kevin's blood run cold. "They're sorting people by psychological profiles," Kevin whispered. "Look at the labels." Above each group of chambers were alien symbols that Marcus was able to partially translate. "This section is labeled Leadership Resistance Patterns. That one says Individual Initiative Subjects. Over there is Group Loyalty Specimens." Nina felt sick. "They're treating people like laboratory animals." "Worse," Marcus said. "They're trying to understand what makes humans willing to sacrifice themselves for others. That's something most alien species don't do." Ryan led them deeper into the facility. They found laboratories where alien scientists worked with human brain scans and psychological profiles. Computer screens showed complex analyses of human behavior patterns. "Colonel," Kevin called softly, "you need to see this." On one of the alien computers, Kevin had found translated research notes. The Dominion scientists were documenting their experiments with clinical precision. Subject Group 47 shows exceptional resistance to authority conditioning, Kevin read from the screen. Despite 72 hours of neural disruption, subjects continue to prioritize group welfare over individual survival. Marcus leaned over Kevin's shoulder. "They're frustrated. Look at this note. Human psychological patterns remain incomprehensible. Subjects demonstrate irrational attachment to abstract concepts like honor and duty." Nina moved to another computer terminal. This one talks about failed attempts to replicate human determination in their own soldiers. They tried transferring human brain patterns to alien minds, but it didn't work. "Why not?" Amy asked through the comm system from the Shadowhawk. Marcus understood immediately. Because determination isn't just brain chemistry. It comes from emotional connections to other people. The Dominion are a collective mind. They can't understand individual choice or personal sacrifice. Ryan studied the research data with growing understanding. They've conquered dozens of civilizations, but they've never encountered a species that fights for emotional reasons instead of logical ones. That's our advantage, Kevin realized. They expect rational responses to their attacks, but humans don't always act rationally when people we care about are threatened. The team continued through the facility, documenting everything they found. The scale of the Dominion's human experimentation was staggering. They had captured thousands of people from dozens of colonies, all in an attempt to understand what made humans different. In the deepest levels of the facility, they found the most disturbing sight yet. A massive chamber contained hundreds of alien soldiers connected to machines that fed them human psychological data. The Dominion was trying to create hybrid warriors with human determination and alien technology. "This is their ultimate goal," Marcus said quietly. "Super soldiers that combine their advanced weapons with human psychological resistance." "Are they succeeding?" Ryan asked. Kevin studied the monitoring systems. "No. The alien minds can't process human emotional patterns. Every attempt to integrate human psychology into their soldiers has failed." Nina pointed to a group of monitors showing failed experiments. "Look at those brain scan comparisons. Every time they try to give an alien soldier human-like determination, the subject either goes insane or shuts down completely. They don't understand that human strength comes from our connections to each other," Amy's voice said through the comm. "You can't just download love and loyalty into a computer." Ryan made a decision. "We're going to rescue as many prisoners as we can and destroy this research. Nina, prep your team for extraction operations." "Sir, there are thousands of people. Here. We can't possibly save them all with just one squad. Then we'll save who we can and make sure the Dominion pays for what they've done." As Nina's enhanced soldiers began freeing prisoners from their chambers, Marcus worked to sabotage the alien research systems. His knowledge of psychological warfare helped him understand how to corrupt their data and destroy their experiments. Kevin downloaded as much information as he could carry. The intelligence would be crucial for Earth's defense against the coming invasion. But as they worked, alarms began to sound throughout the facility. Red lights flashed, and alien voices echoed through the corridors. "We've been detected," Amy reported from the Shadowhawk. "Dominion security forces are converging on your position." Ryan looked around at his team. They had rescued nearly 200 prisoners, but thousands more remained trapped in the facility. The data they had gathered would help Earth prepare for the invasion, but it had come at a terrible cost. "Nina, how long do you need to get the rescued prisoners to the ship?" 10 minutes, sir." "Marcus, how long to completely destroy their research?" 5 minutes if I overload their main computers." Ryan made the hardest decision of his military career. "Do it. Destroy everything. We'll hold off their security forces as long as we can." As alien soldiers poured into the area, Nina's enhanced troops fought desperately to protect the escaping prisoners. Their human weapons and armor proved surprisingly effective against the technologically superior aliens. The Dominion soldiers fought with mechanical precision, but they couldn't understand human tactics based on individual initiative and improvisation. Nina's troops used strategies that seemed irrational, but proved devastatingly effective. Marcus completed his sabotage, sending cascading failures through the alien computer systems. Years of research data were destroyed in minutes, but the cost was high. As the team fought their way back to the Shadowhawk, Nina made a choice that would save her friends but doom herself. A group of alien soldiers blocked the path to the ship, their weapons trained on the escaping prisoners.